This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Boom! Video works flawlessly. But does your audio work flawlessly? Not so much.
If
today.
I'm not muted again,
there we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Bear with us today, folks. Technical difficulties, but without technical difficulties, how will you know you're at the Rebel Scum Podcast? I'm Brock. This is boom, and we're here to talk about Star Wars and all that jazz. Heidi is here as always. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, it's not Wednesday; it is Thursday.
Yeah,
I was actually stuck in the States yesterday, so I couldn't make it in time.
That's a lie. You stayed in the States. You were like, you know, why would I go back to that country when I could stay here and have ice cream?
The answer is Trader Joe's.
I've never been to a Trader Joe's.
I think you might like it. I'm just trying to think. I go for the snacks.
Yeah,
they have their own. You know those like Takis or like the Doritos have those rolled up spicy chips.
Oh yeah.
They have their own version of that, and it will drive you crazy. But then you could come with us to the States and go get your Dunkin' Donuts coffee grounds.
Yes.
Do you still like that stuff? I didn't even ask.
I'm a big Dunkin' Donuts guy. I love
Mm-hmm.
Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have it in Canada. I probably wouldn't like it as much as we had here. But no, I love Dunkin' Donuts. I love in the summer their iced coffee. Yes, and you are nice enough. Last time you went, you brought me back a bag of the ground coffee. I do. I put that in my French press, which they probably hate at Dunkin', but I put it in my French press and do it. And that is my preferred. I went to a cottage this summer for like a couple days with Erin, and she had like her other coffee in the French press. And I was like, just give me my Dunkin' Donuts. That's all I want. Dunkin' Donuts. Sit there with it and just eat it up. Take it, Ben Affleck. It's me and my Dunkin'. I don't know what it is about it. I don't think it's the best coffee in the world, but there's something about it that I just enjoy, Brock. Especially in the summer, $2 any size iced coffee, and you get one. Because they're large. In America, everything's bigger, and their large is like a quadruple large here. Yeah. So I'm like, just fill me up with the caffeine on ice. Let's go.
Like, what an absolute stellar move on Dunkin's part to like put Ben Affleck in one of their Super Bowl ad. I'm like, genius. Like, I think that's probably the best one I saw. Just like, because there's like multiple versions of it, right?
Yeah, and they did a few days before, they did like a lead up to it as well, where he was like grumpy face or something. So it was, they did a pretty good job. Did you watch it with the American commercials this year? We're talking about what happened a month ago.
Because our good friend Marissa works for CTV, which is like, I think, they usually have the Super Bowl, so it's like you gotta support the local. And we're at her house when we do it, so we have to support. I just watch it the next day.
Yeah, I watch it on the Sats and the satellite for sure, and it's nice. You get the American commercials, and it's funny because I get to actually walk away during the American commercials. I was watching it, and then I would walk away, and Aaron would walk in to watch the commercials, and we did like a flip flop of going back and forth. You know what, the commercials, as fun as they are, I watched the Dunkin' Donuts one because I love Dunkin' Donuts and I have to support. Did the best Dunkin' Donut commercial though. For those of you that have seen the Adam Sandler movie that I've never seen, but I've seen that Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Tim Hortons 10 miles from my house. Sorry to hear that, Heidi. So sorry.
It is wild because I was in upstate New York, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York, and they are everywhere. I'm like, whoa. And they're just slightly different than what they are here.
Is the coffee better? Oh, Fantasia's in the chat. Is the coffee any better? That's what I wanted.
I don't know. It's like, it seems weird to go. The only time I've had Tim Hortons in the States was they had blueberry Timbits, and we're like, wow, we haven't had this in years.
I don't.
That was it. That was it.
2 years in a row, my work gift exchange at Christmas has been like a Secret Santa where you just kind of pick a gift and you go around. And 2 years in a row, I got a Tim Hortons gift card with part of the gift that I got. So that's the only time I've gone to Tim Hortons was for, and I think I got bagels because I can't. And if you try to get a black iced coffee at Tim Hortons, it's like pulling teeth. It's like just put the coffee on ice. Like, but what about the cream and sugar? Just put the coffee on the ice. Yeah, but sir, we need to add sugar. Put the coffee on the. It's a whole thing. Anyway, stuck Star Wars. We've already bored Fantasia out of here. There's a Dunkin' Donuts 1 minute from my house, and I can have Dunkin' Donuts delivered. Heidi is now banned from the channel for that one.
Hey, America runs on Dunkin's, James. Don't forget.
That's true. Do people like Dunkin' Donuts in the States? I don't even ask. I just go and I just enjoy it.
I know.
They have a way better color scheme.
I feel like the state of Boston, the state of Massachusetts is all over Dunkin' Donuts. Like, that is where it's from. DD and DD. That's like Dunkin' DoorDash.
Did you watch Bad Batch, Brock?
I did, and I was going to look. I was gonna look it up. There's 2 episodes this week. I don't know why, and I'm like, did I miss an episode? So it was good, and it's like they heard us talking, James. Do you want to know why? Because who's in these 2 episodes? Rex.
What was that? Oh, Rex.
Yeah, Rex. Yeah, so like, it was a good episode. It was like, it was a reminder of like what made Clone Wars so good, where it's like, even though these are all the same, like just slightly different variations of the same character over and over again, it was interesting. It's like, oh yeah, like the gravitas of like one, like I think it's, what's the guy that voices them? Is it Bradley D. Baker? D. Bradley. Yeah, and it's like it works. Like he's talking to himself. Like, so it's like it's kind of cool. We got like a bigger reveal of what exactly Hemlock is doing with the clones. So like he's surprised. He's made them more evil. He's like, he's been doing testing, and like Crosshair kind of like reveals a little bit of it because there's these assassins that are now coming for Omega, and like they find, so like they go to this hidden base that like what's his face, Rex and Echo have been at. So they're like there, and they're like, oh no, they're already here, we have to run. So then of course they have the base gets blown up, and they're just running from these like killer clone assassins, and then a squadron of troopers from the Empire come down, but they're like half clones, half regular stormtroopers, and they're led. The big reveal at the end of the second one, they're led by Wolf. So now this like reunion of Wolf and Rex happens, which is really interesting, right? Because like obviously it's not like nothing's gonna happen, because we also know in Rebels that they are together later on once like we're more into the Empire part of it. But it was interesting because like Wolf is like still under the belief that the Empire is good, so he's now seeing like, wait, because like they have a standoff and Rex puts his guns away. I'm like, it's me. I'm not trying to make you think otherwise. I'm telling you the reality. And he's like, he lets them go, but then they're like, there seems to be like, they're sowing dissension amongst the clones. So it's interesting. I was just like, this is good. Like, I would argue that this season is really like, again, this is the Filoni effect, where it's like meant for kids, but then it's just like slowly builds and builds. Like, there hasn't been any Rhea Perlman character or oh shoot, who's the other actor / comedian that does a voice? They did it last season. It'll come to me. Wanda Sykes. They haven't, like, they've been mentioned once, but they haven't, like, it's just been like Omega and the Bad Batch running from Hemlock. That's it. There hasn't been a deviation from that. Like, the closest deviation is like, oh, now she has a dog thing called Batcher. Oh, I just get it. Bad Batch. Wow. So like this, she saves this like dog dinosaur. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but its name is Batcher, and I legit just got that. So yeah, like it's been a solid season. It's like I would suggest this one over the other two, but obviously you have to watch some of the other episodes. It'd be interesting when the season's done to be like, go watch these 3 or 4 episodes from the first season 1 and 2, so that you understand the whole thing. I feel like the second Tech falls to his death. Let's do this quote, like his death, that like the whole show just completely changes. So yeah, okay. It's, you know, we're in a Star Wars drought, so this is pretty good for what we get.
Awesome. Well, I will when I get my Disney Plus subscription. I've been banned from Disney. Made some lewd comments. Hey, I have a question. You like the Eternals, right?
well, okay. I like the Easter egg scenes at the end of the movie.
Okay, Fantasia likes the Eternals, and Bob Iger is against the Eternals 2 coming because he thinks it's too much of a risk, and he wants no risk movies.
Yes,
I don't think it's a risk. I think he thinks it's going to fail. I don't think the thing is like I don't think he's wrong, because the first one didn't do so hot.
Oh,
people
absolutely.
Didn't seem to love it. So why would they go, like, if they're going to spend, you know, $200 million on a movie? Are people going to go see it? And we saw Argyle, and I mean, Madam Web is on digital tomorrow, and I think we should have a watch party online watching Madam Web. I'm not paying $30 to watch Madam Web on my internet, though. Are you?
Well, I will tell you this: I've seen Madam Web. It was a very bad cam version, but I have seen it. And what a movie! It is something.
A movie.
It's about 20 minutes in, you're like, wait a second. They tried to make us believe something about this movie through the trailer, and it's not actually going to happen. So it's interesting. Right. I would highly suggest watching it, but it's up there with Eternals.
I might check it.
Ooh.
I've never seen Eternals. We watched Fantastic Four together, the 2015 or whatever it was, Fantastic Four, which everyone was like, with Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Miles Teller. And we were remember, because I always think, because everyone always refers to that as like the worst, like one of the worst. And like the first, like whatever of that movie, we were like, this isn't bad. And then it hits a point and it goes 1 year later and it becomes the worst movie ever made after that point. And I only want to see Madam Web to see if it's all of the second half, or is there any part of Madam Web that is
know what it is, James? Like, don't look at it again. I don't think you would. It's like, this isn't about making like a high art like film. But I would say, like, if you see it, watch it and be like, there's something here. There's something here that is interesting. If anything, I bet it was one of those situations where they had a really good script and then some bigwig said, can we do a couple rewrites? And it got lost. It just got completely lost in the thing. Like, it's like, it could have been better. Like, I mean, I was shocked when that trailer came out and I was like, oh, anyways. But going back to Eternals, I mean, Eternals is definitely a risk. That was a risk doing that. And then they released it during COVID, right? Like, we couldn't go to theaters at that point, right?
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. It was later. It was definitely later.
They delayed it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I actually saw Neil Gaiman's, like, Eternals somewhere. I think it was in a bookstore, and I thought about, like, buying it just to read it, because that's, like, considered one of the better versions of that. But it's just, like, nobody cares about these characters. Like, nobody. Like,
well, you could argue nobody cared about... Everyone goes to Guardians. Everyone's like, no one cared about Guardians.
Yeah. But there was a little bit more fun in that, because it's just sort of like... what are they? Space pirates. Yeah, space pirates. Yeah, good. Eternals, like... And it's not even a matter... Like, the characters can be interesting. Like, this... Like, the cast in the Eternals was good. Like, it was like, yeah, I'll go see it. And there are, like, parts of that movie that are good because of who's acting it. But it's just, like, even in the comic, it's like, it gets into that thing where like there's a giant, all those like galactic giants that are not Galactus, who is interesting, but like people like that, where it's like that are like, I mean, I believe Thanos is an Eternal, or yeah, Eternal. There's Celestials, and there's, when you get into that part of Marvel, it's just like, I have no idea. Suddenly a giant appears in the air, and you're like, is it Godzilla? I don't know. So it's just like, that was a risk. I think they're making a misstep on no Captain Marvel. I thought the Marvels was quite good, and like, at the very least, if you're not going to do a Captain Marvel or the Marvels or whatever you want to call it, please bring back these characters. They're totally worth it. For what risk though? It's just like, I feel like every Marvel movie is a risk at this point, right? Like, it's like, what are we looking forward to? The next Spider-Verse, that's what.
Yeah, but the Spider-Verse movies, they do well, but they don't do like $1 billion well, right? They do well. They're not over the top. I love the Super Friends. Yeah, who doesn't? Oh, Heidi grew up on Superman. Yeah, Super Friends are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all movies are like a real big risk, unless you're Timothy Chalamet, who apparently what he touches now is gold with Wonka and Dune Part 2. But like, movies don't. People are picking and choosing the movie. They're a little bit more. I think they're not just going anymore like they used to before COVID. Now they're like, well, if I'm going to go, it's going to have to be for something I really want to go see, and I don't know what that is because I don't go anyway. So I don't know what's pulling people out. But apparently, like Dune, people went out for Dune. People went out for Wonka, Spider-Verse, like you said, Mario Brother, Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because there's like, nobody wants to admit it, but it's still strong IPs. They don't have to be, Barbie's not a franchise, but that's a strong IP. And it looked like Barbie. Like when you see the trailer for it, you're like, well, that's a Barbie movie. Like they're not doing Super Mario Brothers in the 90s where they're trying to do, no, that's a straight up Barbie movie. And if you want to see a Barbie movie, that's what you're going to go see. Wonka was the same. Wonka looked like Willy Wonka, younger. People were like, let's go. And then it was for families, and they're like, we don't have much. So they went. Dune is Dune. And Mario Brothers look like Mario Brothers. So you give people what they want, they're going to go. But there's also, I haven't seen the Marvels, so I can't comment on it. But people, I think, are hesitant on Marvel movies now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like they got burned from the Thor movie and Ant-Man 3. Like, I didn't bother seeing Ant-Man 3. And I actually really liked the first one a lot. And the second one I liked quite a bit. But this one just was such a departure from Ant-Man. Like, it's from the trailers, right? It was like, but all the aspects of Ant-Man that I think I really liked, it didn't seem to have in the trailers to convince me to go see this movie. And then people were like, it's not very good. Don't go see it. So I was like, okay, I won't see it then.
The problem that's like occurring with like what part of which phase are we in? Phase 5 of Marvel? It's just like you're all of a sudden returning to these stories that were done before like Infinity War, and it's just like why are we coming back to this? Like, it's just like there's such a, because it's just like Black Panther was like too far apart. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was too far apart. Ant-Man 3 was too far apart. Marvel's was also too far apart, and it's like, and like 2 of your main characters are from a TV show. It's like, if you don't watch all of it, it's like, it's like, I think for the Marvels, that was a big misstep, was having 2 of your main characters from TV shows on Disney Plus. Because people are saying, not me, I'm not saying this, but people are saying like it feels like homework to go see these movies now. Oh, absolutely.
And if they're like, you got to watch 8 episodes of WandaVision or Miss Marvel, I mean, you're like, but I don't want to. Like, yeah, and then you're just like, why am I going to go see this movie? So yeah, I think there's a few. I don't think though. I think the risk thing is a little ridiculous. You make a good movie, like if Eternals was actually a good movie, I think people would have seen it. Like and like I said, you always go back to Guardians. Everyone always brings up Guardians, but there are other movies like the Thor 3. Like they're movies where you're like, they make good movies, people will show up. You just have to focus on that. So maybe instead of doing what Jurassic Park is doing and rushing to have a movie come out by a certain date, just do what Matt Reeves is doing with Batman 2 and be like, it's not ready. We're going to take our time.
Yeah,
that was delayed like another year. which is kind of weird. But like, yeah, just like, all right, we know you want to fill your spots, but if you really want to get back with the audiences, and this goes for Star Wars as well, just make a good movie.
Yeah,
People we just said, like Dune, Barbie, Mario Brothers. People want to go to the theater to watch movies. They just don't want to go and watch crap that they can, and not just crap, but crap that they can watch in 30 to 40 days on streaming with their subscriptions.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's like one informs the other, right? Like Dune will not be on any streaming services for a while. Like maybe if we're lucky by the summer, maybe. I don't know. So it's like, and you know, there must be some. I saw something on Instagram where like studies show that current day, like millennial and Gen Z viewers, they want new ideas, and they want to be behind movie projects where they feel like they're involved because they support it. They want the idea that they, you know, like the movie they're about to watch is something, a part of them or whatever. And then it also says something about like, and they also enjoy like Friends and Seinfeld. Like, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like
contradictory.
Like but it's like the statement is like, yeah, that sounds great. Yes, we want new ideas and new directors and not the same person over. I'm like, yeah, totally. And they're like, and we want to feel like we're part of the project. It's like, so you want film, you want the stories in film and TV to make you feel feelings. I'm like, that is what they're all doing. That's like literally what they're all doing. Yes, there is a business, and like, you know, like you could have a cool movie about cars and it could be Fast and the Furious, or it could be Baby Driver. It's like, they're both trying to do the same thing, but then when they both are successful in their own ways, but then, you know, when Fast and Furious becomes its franchise, of course, you're just going to play up what people want. Like, I mean, I have you ever seen that video where Christopher Nolan's like, I love the Fast and Furious movies? It's like, he's like, he's not wrong. It's just like, you want to see garbage at times, or not even garbage. It's so mean. Like, it's so critical, but like,
yeah, well, so someone got mad at me because in my letterbox I had two movies. One I rated higher than another one, and they're like, "How can you say that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, one might be objectively a better movie, but guess which one made me happy to be alive? The other one that I gave a higher rating." And you know what? Because I've watched that, because sometimes it's like you just want to feel something when you're watching a movie, and that's all it is. It doesn't have to be the greatest and this and that. It's just like, what? And we're all different, right? And different things hit all of us in different ways. But yeah, like Fast and Furious, there's a few of those that I'm like, I would probably rate them pretty high if I put them on my letterbox, probably, because some of them I would rank really low. Like I did the last one that I watched, which was 9, I think, was like, I was like, what happened? What is going on? Like, I don't know if I zoned out, but I felt like I did. Because it was just like, I don't know where that thing was going. It was wild. But like, you're right. Like people, I don't know. For me, like what I was getting at though is there's different types of movies that you go see. Like there's the Oscar bait movie. There's the escapism movie. There's all these movies, and like, why are you watching the movie? And depending on how you feel at the time and all that really can dictate how you feel in the movie. So the millennials and the Gen Zers, I call them Gen Zs, they know what they're talking about. They're geniuses. They should run the world. Are you a millennial? I think you're a millennial. I think I'm on the cusp. I'm like our birthday. I'm sometimes a millennial and sometimes I'm not.
You're like, you are the end of Gen X and like the beginning of millennials, and I'm like a couple years behind you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I hate subtitles when I watch stuff. Not like if I watch a foreign film, it's different, but I don't put subtitles on when I watch.
Oh, really? Wow. I love subtitles.
Yeah, I know, because you're a millennial and Gen Z. I can't stand them. I'm like, get the words off the effing screen. I want to see the picture. and the smooth motion, every time I go to someone's house and they're like, let's watch TV, and they put on a smooth motion, I'm like, throw your TV in the garbage. Let's go to the movie theater and see how this thing's supposed to look. And then I leave. I get mad. I hate all of it. I can't do subtitles. I'm like, Aaron's like, turn it up. I'm like, I will turn up the volume. That's why we have surround sound, so we can hear it. I don't want subtitles. I don't have time to. Well, you love reading too, though. But I'm like, I don't want to read my movie unless it's foreign. I have no interest in it because I do prefer subtitles to dubbed. When I watch a dubbed movie, I'm always like, I can't just put the words. That's when I'm like the opposite. I'm like, just put the words on the screen, okay? I can't handle Chris Pratt's voice right now. Just put the words on the screen. All right, let's go do blind rankings.
There's no way. No, it's okay. I was just going to say, the only thing I like about subtitles is sometimes you can hear whatever the background actors are talking about, and it's like, sometimes adds to it. Just like the scene from Rise of Skywalker where you see the names of the people who are the Jedi start talking. I'm like,
but sometimes they're also wrong. Sometimes subtitles are also wrong. It takes me back to a Siskel and Ebert review of a movie where they're like, no one knows what they say, so we put on the subtitles. And there was 2 versions with subtitles, and they both said something different. I was like, good times. Blind rankings, Brock. This is where I'm going to throw 5 words or names at you, and you're going to blindly put them in order from 1 to 5. 1 being your favorite, 5 being the one that you wish did not exist. Today's blind rankings are admirals.
Oh.
It's going to take me a while to write these ones down because I can't spell any of these names. All right, are you ready for your blind ranking?
Let's go.
Here we go. Thrawn.
Gonna put him at 2.
2 is Thrawn. I know what you're hoping for 1. We'll see if we get there. Let's go with Tarkin.
Gonna put him at 3. They have to be side by side, I feel.
They do. Let's go with Wolf Yullerin.
Number 5.
Okay, I have to spell this one properly. Y-U-Laren.
Yularen? Yeah.
Y-U-Laren. I can't spell, let's be honest. Hold on. I'm missing one. Oh, Ray Sloan.
So what do I have? 3?
1 and 4. 1 and 4.
Oh, okay, 4.
Ray Sloan. Does Sloan have an E at the end? There's the question. Ray Sloan. Do you think she'll show up in live action?
I hope so. I know nothing about her.
And that's why she's your number 4. People are getting mad at you right now. How did that become a capital? All right. Number 1, Admiral Akbar.
Oh, yeah.
What just happened? Yeah, for sure. Obviously.
Yeah.
So there's your list. What do you think of it?
Yeah, pretty good. I feel like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 could just kind of match up for me anyways, so.
Yeah, but 1 is always Akbar.
Yeah.
I was thinking about not putting Akbar on the list, and I said, how do you not?
Just a mess with me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that's the fun of it, is like, you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. There's not a lot of admirals. I mean, there is a lot of admirals, but there's not admirals says.
Admiral. I'm surprised you didn't put Holdo.
No, I didn't put Holdo. We got to do more of these, Brock. Got to do more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're going to have... That's what, I remember video games. You're like, how come you didn't have this video game? Because there's a lot of video games. We got to go. We got to do it. All right. Let's talk about this Rey movie and the Grogu and Mando movie. Apparently, the Rey movie is looking to start shooting next year, and Mando and Grogu is shooting in June, according to Brendan Wayne, the stunt body of Mando. He says it's happening in June, but he also, Brock, is saying that he doesn't think that he hasn't heard anything about Mando season 4. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think, even if there is going to be a Mando season 4, I don't think they would be that far into, to be more concerned about the movie right now. What do you think of all this?
It would be nice to have one more season, but I'm also said several times, like, we need to make a movie.
Would you prefer, though? Would you prefer knowing that Rey, let's say the Rey shooting next year is a guarantee. It's not a rumor. Mm-hmm. It's a guarantee it's shooting, let's say March. March is official. They're shooting in Glasgow. Bam. Would you feel would you prefer a season 4 of Mando and Grogu, or would you want a movie for Mando and Grogu?
I can't have it all.
No. I mean, maybe you can, but in this scenario, no.
You make a good point. So then, sorry, would Mando and Grogu come out first, then the Rey movie? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give up the 4th season if it means like next year is Mando and Grogu, and the year after that is Rey. 2 Star Wars movies back to back. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm a no-brainer because I'm more of a movie guy than a TV guy anyway. So if it means I don't have to sit once to watch something, and then I'm going to watch it 1,000 times after that, which would make no sense. But I'm all in. I think, and I love season 1, 2, and 3, but season 3 was just a drawn-out movie that they cut out, and now you can make something a little bit more focused, cut the fat, and let's go and make it. I will say this though. I hope the movie, the Mando and Grogu, that's a tongue twister. The Mando and Grogu movie. I'm really hoping that it's like 2 hours to 2:15 max, like hard max. Do not go over. Don't go over 2:15 because I can't take it. I've watched a lot of movies and they're always over it, and I'm like, if you would just be like a half hour shorter, 20 minutes shorter, 10 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
I would watch you in one night, but I'm not going to. It's going to take me 3 nights to watch you Killers of the Flower Moon. It's going to take that long. It's going to take me a week to watch The Fabelmans. And you know what? That's how it happens because they're long. These movies are so long. And I think Star Wars doesn't need... I love Star Wars. I will watch a 7-hour Star Wars movie, believe me, but I don't think it needs to be that long. I think Mandalorian and Grogu, 2 hours, wrap it up in a Nepo, cut the fat, make it tight. Put me on a fun adventure and I'm good to go. I don't need nonsense. Look, I love talking. Talk slow. I don't care, but it doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah. No, it's like, don't get me wrong. I love me a good 2-hour, 3-hour movie. Or those are 2 different times. A close to 3-hour movie, like epic movie, gosh, what is the second Infinity movie? What's the sequel to Infinity War? What's it called?
Endgame.
The last Endgame. Like Endgame is a great movie. I forget the title, but it's a great movie, and it's worth the 2.5 hours. Or if you watched all of the last Harry Potter, both parts 1 and 2, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like I'm in. Like there is a place for that.
Earn it.
Yeah, they earn it, and it's just like. There's a place for that. Star Wars can definitely do that, but like Star Wars needs to like get a seat at the table again. So it's just like, okay, you need to like come with something better. It's like, are you sure this is what you want to pass in? Let's go back to your desk and work on this a little bit more. So like, I hate to be hypercritical, but it's kind of true. I watched a 90-minute teen movie this week, and it was fantastic. And it was 90 minutes, and it didn't feel short or long, like or whatever.
And they should have. And they should.
Yeah. What movie were we watching? Him and I were like, "This movie's 2 hours. It doesn't feel like 2 hours." I can't remember. It'll come to me later, but yeah, exactly. Babysitter's Club. But anyways, like we just watched the new Millie Bobby Brown movie, Damsel, and it's just like, this is good. It's not. It's pretty original story, but like it's like the acting is decent. You can like be critical of like Millie Bobby Brown as a person being like early 20s and rich, and she just sort of whatever on social media, but like I think she knows how to act in her character, and she's enjoyable. But again, that's just my preference. Like I'm like if you put a Stranger Thing, like that teen movie I was just talking about, Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things in it, I'm like, I'm in. I'll watch it. I mean, that's marketing. Like, if someone from Stranger Things is in it, I love that show, so I will watch it because I'm like, what else you got? What you got? So,
how you just brought up Peter Jackson's King Kong. That movie I watched in the theater. I remember being like, they could cut this boat scene out because there's nothing in that boat scene. Like, they could cut that whole thing out, but he left it. And the thing is, Peter Jackson because of Lord of the Rings, he earned, whether it's right or not, he earned the privilege to basically do what he wanted with King Kong, and he did that, and that's why editors are very important. And I honestly, and I've always said this too. I look at I brought up Pillars of the Flower Moon, which I know was nominated for an Oscar and people love it, but I thought it was fairly weak. It was pretty good. It's not a bad movie. I'm not saying that, but like. Rise of Skywalker, the same thing. I watched both of these movies, and I'm like, if you trim these movies a little bit, you can make way stronger films by cutting things out. And that's what editing, like a lot of it is that like there's sometimes they don't need to drag. Sometimes things don't need to drag, and sometimes things don't even need to be in the movie. Like just get rid of it and you have a little faith in your audience and let it go.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. There's just, I guess Martin Scorsese talking about it. He goes, what did he say? He's like, people can sit and watch a movie for that long. They watch Netflix. I'm like, yeah, but there's a difference though. I know they don't, but I know. I said what the head of Netflix said to Zack Snyder, where it's like people watch 8 hours of a TV show in one sitting, but they only watch 2 hours of a movie. They're very different experiences. But it's like just because you can make a 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour movie doesn't mean you should. And it also doesn't mean you should make a 90-minute movie. You've got to make the movie that fits in it at the end. Like just look at it. And, I think something weird's happening with movie making right now where Hollywood is a mess. It's a mess. TikTok is taking over. Like that's the weird thing is like movies are 3 hours and TikTok is 7 seconds. And like, just put me somewhere in the middle of all this. I want to see something in the middle. But not every movie has, like Lord of the Rings is great. It's long, but it's epic. It's sweeping epic. It's, what movies did I watch? I'm like, why is, like the Fablemans I thought was too long. I'm like, why is this going on for so long? I know where you're going. I'm on board with you. Just get there. Like, just don't take the detour. Straight line. Anyway, that's annoying. I just hope this Mando movie is fun. It could be 2.5 hours, but there should be a reason. Like you said, Endgame, it earned it though. It's 10 years. It built up. It had and the one before it built right into it, and it did. And I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and I remember just being like, everything in this one there's a purpose for all the things that happen in that movie. Like every time you go somewhere and you're in a scene, there's a purpose to that scene. Whereas even Infinity War, I'm like, there's a few things in Infinity War, I'm like, they can cut half of this, but not half of it. But like Endgame just felt like they earned it and they did it right.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I thought Andrew was going away. Like, why is he still here? My God,
Andrew. Fantasia.
General Kenobi.
Yeah. All right, you want to go over to the odds makers?
Let's do it.
Possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
Never Tell Me the Odds, brought to you and me and not Andrew by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you just head over there and support us so that we can continue to talk about Star Wars and things that aren't Star Wars and things that are Star Wars adjacent and things that are like, I don't like Star Wars, but I'm here for the free drinks. And
Star
do
Wars
that.
Is dead.
Exactly. It's dead, and we need to resuscitate it and become the Godzilla Scum Podcast. Anyways, head on over to
Have you seen Godzilla -1?
No, and I want to. I think I saw it on one of my tings, so I'm gonna watch it at some point. I did I tell you I watched Monarch? Loved it. I'm in, and I'm actually excited for this new one.
Monarch keeps popping up on the apples, and I'm like, ooh. But I'm just like, I would prefer it if it was a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. My problem is, and this is true, if I don't finish it, like if you give me an out and I take it, there's like a really good chance, unless Aaron wants to come back, I'm gone. Like you will lose me. I don't know what it is. I've been like this since I was a kid though, like with TV shows. Like I used to get obsessed with TV shows because if I didn't, I wouldn't come back. Like if you lose me on a commercial break and I leave for whatever, I might not even come back after the commercial break. You know what? You owe me. I owe you nothing. Nothing's TV series.
But don't lose us on our commercial right now. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. And us, support us, like the wonderful people that we shout out every episode: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Dana Nerds, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasak, and Jeff Wilson. Never tell me the odds. Andrew. Oh, wow. I'm not saying that out loud. I only pretended I had to work so I could sound cool, says Andrew Fantasia. I'm reading Andrew's book.
Oh.
Yeah. I spelled my name wrong.
Yeah. I will not give.
No, it's actually. You will not. No, his book is very good. If you haven't read it, check it out on Amazon.com. Link is in his bio somewhere.
Nice.
Never tell me the odds. Asajj Ventress will return after Bad Batch. We're going to get some Asajj Ventress after her run on Bad Batch. I haven't seen Bad Batch. I don't know if she's shown up yet. I don't know if she died yet. I don't know what's going on. But
I totally forgot she was in the trailer. I'm like, oh yeah. So like that's
spoilers.
I'm like.
That's kind of annoying though. They put her in the trailer, then she's in like the last episode of the show. You know, how many episodes?
Like,
there's still a lot of episodes.
Madame Web.
Oh, because the costumes are only in the dream. I heard in Madame Web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm gonna go odds. I don't think anyone's ever really dead in Star Wars. Except
Not
Uncle
anymore.
Owen and Peru.
Apparently, Mace Windu, the only guy that wants to come back, they won't bring back. Samuel Jackson's like, he's actively like, I bring me back, and they're like, no, we're gonna bring back everyone else. Don't worry.
I mean, you know what? Samuel Jackson, he can do no harm. He's actually, that is one of the nicer things in the newer Marvel movies. He's in a bunch of different things. I'm like, yeah, I miss Nick Fury. So like, yeah, and then yeah, in Argyle, he's only in one location, and it's in like Italy or France or whatever. And it's like, I know what you're doing here. It's like, I just went to France.
You want to shoot me? Shoot me over here. All right, Asajj Ventress returning.
I'm gonna go 45%. I feel like the Asajj Ventress love isn't as high on other characters. I could be totally wrong though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go full Brock because I haven't even seen this. So she might just show up and die because she died in the Dark Disciple book, and the writers said that they're sticking with that, which makes me think that either this isn't going to acknowledge that, like it's going to happen before that, like they're never going to get to that part of the book, or they're lying and they're not going to pay attention to it, which wouldn't surprise me either. So I'm going to go full Brock. Our next odd. The Rey Skywalker movie will have at least one new lightsaber color. Are we going to get a color that is not red, green, blue, or yellow or purple in the Rey Skywalker movie?
I don't know, man. Like, what other colors could there be? Like,
look at the rainbow. Look at the rainbow. Anything you want. You could do anything.
I don't know. I mean, because it's like yellow.
What if Mace Windu comes back? What if Mace Windu comes back and Samuel Jackson's like, can I have a blood orange lightsaber?
Blood orange. But then I don't know. It's like they do a different type of green in the video games, and it's just light green. So it's just like it's like how much different magenta if it's not a real color. Interesting quip there, Heidi. Magenta is cool. But I'm gonna say burgundy though. What does that look like in a light? Now that's the thing. It's like it's a tube of light. It's like, what does that exactly look like? My odds though. I'm gonna go 30%. I feel like they almost do not care about that anymore.
I know Andrew's gonna be mad, but I don't care either. I'm gonna go 11%. Because I really don't care. Like I'm fine with green, blue, and I'm fine with green, blue, and red. Like they look fine to me. Purple was great, and we're gonna get a lot of yellow. So whatever, stick with it. And I kind of like the dark orange that the bad guys kind of have in Ahsoka, where they're not pure red. They're a little bit off. That's fine. And our final odd, and this is the only odd that matters that we've ever done. Christopher Walken, who was up for Han Solo, as everyone knows, and every time he's in a movie, they have to ask him about it. Christopher Walken will be cast in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
I mean, he's in the new Dune. Everybody loves Dune now, apparently. I'm gonna go 25%. I don't know.
It's kind of up there though with like if you think of the casting, Christopher Lloyd, Michael Biehn.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, the Horatio Sands. Like they're kind of like, and it seems like the kind of casting where because the reason why I did the odd was because every time he's in a movie, which now I'm doing too, he always gets asked about it, and he's like, yeah, I was up for Han Solo. Like he always brings. That's not my impression, but you know what I mean. So it was kind of like a little quirk they would have. I'm also going to go low. I'm going to go 37%, but it feels like if you would ever show up in a Star Wars, it would be a Favreau Star Wars, and this would be the chance for it to happen. Watch him be like the main character in Skeleton Crew, and it's not Jude Law, or he's like an older Jude Law. He's old Jude Law telling the story of Jude Law's Skeleton Crew.
Then I'm in.
And they both don't sound like, but Jude Law's British and he's Christopher Walken, and they don't sound anything alike, and no one explains it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right,
Sure.
Favreau, ball's in your court. Ball is in your court. All right, it's time for the news.
Holo news.
Holo news. Da 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 da. Holo news. Da 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 da. Holo da 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 da.
Holo news. Holo news. The news you need to know right now. We got some pretty happening right now news. As we all know, the classic Star Wars Battlefront game was re-released for, I think, just Switch? No, I think it's all platforms, but I know it was on Switch because I saw it on the Switch store today. Aspire is under fire over the disastrous launch of the highly anticipated Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which is plagued with servers issues, bugs, and more. Launching March 14th, the $34.99 Classic Collection, which includes the original 2 Star Wars Battlefront games, currently has a mostly negative rating on Steam, with just 20% of reviews being positive. Headlining most complaints are connectivity issues, with myriad Steam and social media users claiming just 3 64-player servers were available at launch for the 9,232 players who logged in on Steam alone. Aspire seemingly added more servers within a few hours of launch, but problems were rampant. This isn't the first time the Classic Collection was proved controversial either, despite being announced just a few weeks ago on February 21st and launching today. Eagle Eyes fans spotted Aspire accidentally used footage of a Star Wars mod for its trailer instead of its own gameplay. So that's a little disappointing, but that's the way she goes sometimes. In a new interview on the Talking Pictures podcast, Patty Jenkins announced that she is now once again in development on the script for Rogue Squadron following the dissolution of her planned Wonder Woman 3 at Warner Brothers and DC Studios. She says, "When I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3 and I started working on that, we talked about, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman. When Wonder Woman 3 went way, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we've got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was beginning, so now I owe a draft to Star Wars, so we will see what happens there. Who knows? Rogue Squadron is still not yet confirmed to be officially happening, but Jenkins is working on a script for it. She said she would absolutely happy to make it, adding the emotion of Star Wars and what it stands for is something so beautiful in this world. If I can do something beautiful and do something that serves that audience, I would love to do it." In our final story, a PS or a follow-up on something I talked about last week, the C-3PO head that went on auction from Anthony Daniels' collection has sold for $800,403 and $750, which is 660,000 pounds, British pounds, or I guess British pounds, at auction. The light-up prop from 1983's Star Wars episode, I have to do Roman numerals, 6, Return of the Jedi was sold as part of the Anthony Daniels collection in Los Angeles. Daniels, who played the droid in Star Wars franchise, previously said he hoped the memorabilia will find new homes where they will be displayed, respected, and enjoyed by fans. That's an expensive droid head, and this has been your Holo News. There it is.
I was speaking the whole time.
Nice.
The whole time. So Patty Jenkins is back.
Great. Sweet. I just love when they're like, I would love to do this project for money. I'm like, of course you would.
I just, I don't want to talk about it, but the one thing that strikes me is they're like, we're going to focus on quality over quantity. I'm like, okay, great. And they have Mando and Grogu, the Rey thing. Maybe Mangold's still making this movie, maybe not. The Filoni movie, maybe that. But like, okay. Is Star Wars going to be a disjointed mess in movies? Like none of the movies are going to connect anymore? Like I don't know. I'm just confused at what the directive is for movies now, like for Star Wars movies. Like, are we just going to tell a bunch of individual stories, or are we going to make epics like we used to, like like they used to? Like, I know that but that's TV, yeah. But it was like 2-hour movies at a time with big sprawling space battles and aliens and creatures and the Force and just like and I don't know. I don't get it. Is it too much? Too much?
It might be. I don't know. It's just weird because it's just like, why aren't you making more smart? Why are you allowing Marvel to make as much as they can, but Star Wars is just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to make a movie. I don't know that they've dominated on the. I don't know. Would you say Star Wars is dominated on Disney Plus platform? I don't know. Yes.
It did, and then it stopped.
Yeah,
but it definitely did.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm all for a Rebel Scum movie by Patty Jenkins, a Rebel Squadron. That would be fun. I love X-wing pilots, so I'm always in. But yeah, I don't know.
Why is that a movie and not a TV show? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like,
good question.
Like, because it's Patty Jenkins, is that the only thing? I don't know. I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to be angry watching it like this. I mean, no, I do hope it's just a good movie. That's all I hope. We'll see what we get. Top five.
Top five Din Djarin Mandalorian quotes. Top 5 things Mando said. Oh, he has to have said it? Shit. I thought it was just quotes from the show.
Tell you what, I'll do that. You do what you wrote down.
All right, cool.
I don't think I wrote it right. Yeah, because we were talking about the Mando movie, so I was like, because Grogu doesn't say anything, so it would have been hard. My number 5 is what's that one that he says where he goes, "May the Force be with you."
Does he actually say that?
Oh, he says that in the second. Yes. Art.
I was like, I should write these down properly, so I just typed in lines from Mandalorian. It was like a top 40, and some of them were just like, "I'm in." Cara Dune. I'm like, I'm in. My number 5 is this goes out to Disney Desi because I know she'll love this. Bad Baby, No Squeezy from
yeah.
Always forget what they're called. The Babu Frick aliens and Dory. And anyways, I like that part.
I don't know what they're called. I was thinking, what I was thinking about? Side Akbar, the movie Fanboys, because I really like Fanboys. Like I really genuinely enjoy Fanboys. For a while, that was like my movie. I would just like watch that on repeat. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, does that movie work today? Like for an audience today, I'm really curious because they say things like Kashyyyk, which now it's like common knowledge, but back then it wasn't. Even when that movie came out, it was barely common knowledge. Like we kind of got in Revenge of the Sith. It was like it wasn't in our face as much as it is now. And like, there's just little things like that. I'm like, how does this movie play today for new audiences? And I'll never know for me, but anyway, I love fanboys, so watch it.
Yeah, great movie.
I'm Din Djarin, friend of Ugnaught Quill. I have spoken.
My number 4 would the line that is in many memes. I would like to see the baby.
I would like to see the baby.
I would like to see the baby.
I love how happy he was to be in. How much he loved that puppet. Yeah. How much he loved being in Star Wars. Like yeah. It was so much fun. My number 3 is wherever I go, he goes.
I saw that one on the list. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. But I'm gonna mention Quill in this one and just say I have spoken. Like, yeah, easy peasy.
Quill's the man, or the Ugnaught. Quill's the best. Quill's the best. Mine on 2. I'm on 2.
You're on 2. So I just did 3.
I'm on 2, and my number 2 is I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
I feel like we might have flipped around to number 2 and number 1s, because my number 2 is This Is the Way.
Oh, my number 1 is This Is Grogu. No, I'm joking.
This is us.
My number 1 is This Is the Way.
Yeah, mine is I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Like both like. Are you gonna buy those
on Blu-ray?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have a Blu-ray player still in a box somewhere, but it's just like it is wild that like I mean. I also look on Facebook Marketplace for things, and I see VHS of the X-Men 92 cartoon. I'm like, oh, that would be great to have. I'm like, why? I mean, I do have, to my right, you can't see it, but my bookshelf, and I could put VHS on there, and they would look cool because they kind of look like books, but I'm like, what are you doing? So it's like, I you know what? I'm glad they're putting out the physical stuff. Like I think... I was thinking about it the other day, like the Moon Knight stuff on Blu-ray. Like that's a great move. That's a great show, and like nobody talks about that one. I'm like, why? So, but I don't know. Buy it on. It just my wife will say no. It's like you have Disney Plus.
Yeah, I haven't got them. I haven't even seen them, to be honest. I don't even know where you buy stuff anymore. But I thought about it. Hold on.
He muted, folks.
I did.
Polite.
I muted to joke. I've thought about it. The Andor one, really, for some reason, I'm like, I kind of want the Andor one. I think I don't know when season 2 comes out. If I will, I think the problem with Mando is it's season 1 and season 2, and they're separate. And I would kind of prefer if it was just like one box set. But I'm sure it's overpriced anyway. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the Andor one that I'm like, I kind of dig this. I don't know what it is, but that one spoke to me. Maybe I think because it's the one that I think visually is the most, like it looks visually the most stunning to me. But season 1 of Mando had the volume and it tricked us all. We can't forget that. And it has the egg episode, which is probably my favorite Star Wars show of any episode of anything. But I don't know. I've thought about it. I haven't looked at them. I don't know how much they cost, but I think about them frequently. And I just saw the Andor thing. I'm like, man, do I want that? Because I don't have Disney Plus right now, Brock. I don't know if you know that. I know. I'll be getting it. You know what? I might be getting it because I think it's $2 for the ad one right now for 3 months. And I think my phone plan gives me 6 months for free. So I might be looking into that also. But but here's my strategy is I'm going to wait for the perfect 6 month span. So I'm like, oh, Star Wars Bats Cop, spam, and they get my that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm that Braveheart meme. Hold on.
Smart.
All
why
right,
not?
316 episodes. Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah. They've had this deal for like 2 years now. Episode 316. Anything else you want to say?
No. Yeah. I've been watching Shogun. That's a pretty good Disney Plus movie or movie
you
show.
That last.
So you should like in 6 months you should watch it. I would be curious to see if you like it or not.
I thought the trailer was. I really liked the trailer. I was interested in it. Yeah. How many episodes are there? I'm good. If there's less than 6, I am so in.
I don't know how much. I never look up how many episodes. I don't even know how many episodes of Bad Batch are going to be this season. I think there's 3 right now. It moves pretty fast, though. I don't know where they're going. I know nothing about this story, so.
Do you know what I think I prefer? One of the things I really liked about Ahsoka, I think it's the only one that did it, but Ahsoka was it took me back to the way I used to watch TV, where I'm like, okay, this comes out at 9:00 at night, and I would like every week I'm like 9:00, but when it's streaming and it's like 3 a.m., I'm like, I don't know, like that's when I really kind of get like Mando. I agree. But that's when I really kind of get like, if I watch it, I watch it. If not, and. But if you're like it's 9:00, I'm like, it's probably because I'm old and I was conditioned to do that for the first 30 years of my life. But I don't know. There's just something in that mindset where Ahsoka was 9 p.m. Like and I might not watch it right at 9, but it's between 9 and 9:10. Like I'm watching it during that time, and I don't know. It was a very different feeling watching Ahsoka than all the other Disney Star Wars streaming stuff.
It's funny that you say 9 because that's like the time that stuff. Like Ahsoka aired for us Eastern Standard Time. It was 6 on the West Coast tonight at 9:00. So
an hour ago,
just a little over an hour, little over an hour ago, the Taylor Swift Eras tour thing premiered on Disney Plus. So, and we were sitting there, my Reham and I, and we're like, that's a great idea. Like, if you like Taylor Swift or not, it doesn't matter. But like, this is a genius move. I don't know how.
I think they paid a lot of money for it.
I had no idea if they actually I didn't see any advertisement for it, so I don't know. I know Taylor Swift fans find a way, but I was like, that's smart. And today's what? It's a Thursday. Like, what a random day to. But Taylor Swift fans will do it. I know that.
And then it's great because then you have all day Friday, and then your weekend.
Yeah, true.
So they're gonna watch it 100 million times.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually shocked it didn't get nominated for anything, like even documentary or something. Like they're like, I mean, I don't think it stacks up on anything that really is in the same category, but I'm maybe, I don't know. It's like when you see those videos of when they were showing it in theaters and just women or people or whatever just dancing, and you're like, wow.
I have thoughts on the Oscars. We'll leave it at that. I did it again though. Erin was watching, and I was in the other room. She goes, "Who's gonna win this?" And I was pretty accurate.
That was the best.
I was pretty good at picking them off. Yeah, you just have to read the room. All right, 316. You want to say bye?
Bye.
All right, Brock, you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.